So, even though I spend a lot of my time teaching law students and other adults how to negotiate, one of the things I have the most fun with, and I've had lots of opportunities to do, is to teach negotiation skills to high school and college students. But one of the questions Zoomers often ask me is, hey Bob, do you have any advice on how to negotiate with my parents? I mean, they kind of seem like they're your age. So if you are a Zoomer trying to negotiate with your Gen X parents and you are hitting a complete brick wall, stay tuned. So today, I'm gonna give you some insight into the do's when it comes to negotiating with Gen X parents. So I'm gonna start with some traps to avoid. And here is a really big one: making comparisons. Now, I get why comparisons feel useful, but they usually land really poorly with a parent. So what do I mean by comparisons? So here's an example. Some of your friends are heading to the beach for the weekend, and your parents have told you that that's frankly not happening for you. And so what you do is say something like, "That's ridiculous. My friend Rodrigo is going, and Julia is going, and Joel is going, and their parents are okay with it. What is wrong with you, dear mom and dad?" This usually doesn't land, and it doesn't land for a few reasons, right? Typically, it doesn't land for a few reasons. First, the role you're giving your parent is that they're this kind of meanie, strict person. And when we're given a bad role in negotiation, we usually resist it. Secondly, even though many times external criteria is persuasive, in a case like this, I think it tends to lock the parent down. So avoid comparisons. Here's another tactic you really want to avoid, and it's using the silent treatment. So I get this, and I've seen it often. You're kind of pissed at your mom and dad, and so you're just like, you know what? I'm going to not talk to them. I will withdraw into my cell phone. I will be on the screen entirely. I will close the door. I will slam it, and I will make them pay. Now, at times, I suspect this strategy might work in the short term, right? Your parent breaks, and they let you go to the party. Parent breaks, and they let you get tickets to the Taylor Swift concert. But even when it works in the short term, it has some long-term negatives. It tends to break down trust, it tends to breed resentment, and it often makes your parent worry about you and decide that they need to become more strict. And so even though you're getting what you want in the short term, it's going to be worse for you in the long term. So here's a secret for you. Because when you withdraw into your cell phone, it can often be a particular rub for Gen X parents. And you know why? We didn't have this tool when we were kids. And so we see putting that phone in front of your face as especially rude. So there is no upside to this. There's no upside in negotiation to upsetting your parents unnecessarily. Okay, so a third thing to avoid is to go ahead and do whatever you damn well please and then ask for forgiveness afterwards. Now, that might work once or twice, but in the long term, it tends to put a wall between you and them. And yeah, so it breaks down trust between you and your parent, and it puts a wall between the two of you. And one of the ways to get more yeses from your parent is actually to build trust, not break it down. So let's talk about what are the things to do to increase the likelihood that your parents are going to say yes. Number one, and this is a really important one, it's a secret interest of theirs that they are unlikely to verbalize, that they might not even be aware of, but that is going on for them. And that is that as you develop your own unique personality, as you get the pierce or the tattoo or the music or whatever it is that you love, they are afraid that they are losing you as their little kid. And the reality is they are losing you as their little kid. But one of the things that they want really is not the little kid, but to feel like they are an important part of your life. And so if there is a way that you can communicate to them that even as you grow up and become more independent, that you still need them and see them as an important part of their life, that is going to make it much easier for them to say yes to individual asks. Secondly, when you're negotiating with them, acknowledge another of their interests, which is that they will see part of good parenting as to keep you safe and to keep you healthy and to set you on a road to success in your life. There is no upside to you to fighting that interest. It is one of their interests. So when you are talking with them, acknowledge it. Say, hey, mom, or hey, dad, right? If I were in your shoes, I'd be worried that I'm going to be safe here. I'd be worried about what happens if A, B, and C goes wrong. And I've given that some thought. And here's some ways I hope I can allay that. And then ask them, what concerns do you have about it? If you do that, they will be like, what planet is my child on? But I think it will actually work. So third is take the time to listen actively to them. So it is really annoying to put away the cell phone or to stop whatever it is we're doing, to take the earbuds like out of our ears. But doing that and spending a few minutes really hearing what they have to say, acknowledging their emotions, paraphrasing back to them. Here's the thing, in the long run, that is an exercise in efficiency. The more they feel heard and seen by you, the easier it is for them to say yes, because so many times their no is partially frustration of feeling like, who is this child? And when you listen to them and make it seem like you hear them and that you see them, that interest is met. So fourth, when you're asking them for something, when you're negotiating with them, express a shared interest in building trust with them. Tell them that when you are asking to do A, B, C, and D, that you're asking in a spirit of wanting to be able to build your relationship with them. And that if they have concerns about what you're asking, that you're willing to talk about how you will comply with whatever is important to them and what the consequences will be if you somehow fail in some way. This may sound really corny, right? But I think the best way over time to get your parents to give you more and more freedom and more autonomy is to build that trust, which means saying what you mean and meaning what you say. It also means that if there are times when you don't follow through, you said you were going to do X and instead you did Y, don't hide that. Instead, admit it to them, apologize, and ask for another chance. So let me share with you a real story from when I was in high school, and I wanted to go to a party, and my parents were really concerned that there would be drinking there, and frankly, I was pretty sure there'd be drinking there. And so I told them, hey, I'm pretty sure there'll be drinking there. I do not intend to drink, and I really feel like I should go to this party. It will be a lot of fun. They said yes, I think reservedly. And guess what? I went and I drank. And when I came home, don't worry, I didn't drive and drink. Someone else was driving. There wasn't Uber back then, and there was no public transportation. But when I came home, they said to me, how'd it go? And I said, it was really fun. I had a good time. Oh, and by the way, I did have a few beers, and I'm really sorry. And that went an incredibly long way with them. They were not happy that I had said I wouldn't have beers, and I did, but they were happy that I was upfront about it. And the result was from then on, they didn't ask me about what was going on at the party. They trusted me, and they trusted my judgment, and they knew that I would be forthright if I had done anything that was outside their expectations and hopes. So if you're a teenager and you're negotiating space, you're negotiating independence, you're negotiating autonomy with your parents, and you're struggling, right? This is always really tough. It's tough for you because you feel like it's time to make decisions on my own, but it's also tough for your parents. But there's some advice that you can follow to increase the likelihood that you will get a yes, both in the moment and more autonomy going forward. So remember these steps. First, remember that one of their secret interests is to not lose the special role they have in your life. So even though they are losing you as a little kid, remind them that they are not losing the important role they have in your life. Second, be upfront and acknowledge that they have interest in being a good parent and keeping you safe and in setting you on a road to success in life. Third, put the cell phone away for a few minutes and just listen to them. It is an exercise in building trust. And fourth, when you are asking them for permission to do X, Y, or Z, express as one of your interests a long-term interest in building trust. What are some ways you can do that together? If you do these things, I think you'll find that over time, you're going to have much better conversations with your parents. So if this video was helpful for you, watch this next one, which is how to negotiate with kids. It might give you some more insight, and also you can share it with your parents. Lastly, before you go, make this Gen Xer happy. Please subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, like this video, and if you have comments or reactions, please put them into the comments. Thanks for watching. Okay, keep watching the next video. Okay, keep binging this.